With Thanksgiving right around the corner, it's only fitting that we here at Loveshack TCG bring you a Thanksgiving-themed video. Unfortunately, that will not be today because I haven't quite figured out what we're going to do yet, so instead, we're going to give you a Noble Knight deck profile. For those of you who play often or follow the news, at least relatively consistently with Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll know that today the Noble Knight set of the Noble Knights of the Round Table set came out. It's a $50 item. It comes with a playmat, you can see here. It's not perfect by camera angle, but you can see it's a full-size mat. Really, really nice mat, too. Comes with a full Noble Knight deck, power-up pack that comes with, I believe there's 6 cards in the set, some staples like Lance, Valor, and MST. And then it also comes with a storage box if you want to put it together, and then these Noble Knight sleeves. These are actually just Noble Knight of the Round Table, the field spell, projected onto a sleeve. As with all Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves that are made by Konami, they tend to suck as anything other than extra deck sleeves, but they still look really cool. So the problem is once you use them like once or twice, they start to peel and fade, and then they get stuck to each other, and it's just not good for the cards. But basically what we're going to present to you today is a Noble Knight deck profile, and Noble Knights are one of the more fun decks that I've had the luxury to experiment with and play around with, and unfortunately for a while they were just not really able to keep up competitively because of their reliance on spell and traps and combos, in a format where decks like Cleforts and Shadals can do all sorts of crazy things. And they're still not the best, but they're a lot more fun now, and they did get some really useful cards in Merlin, as well as Last Chapter of the Noble Knights and Noble Knight Bedweir. That's the new one you can see right there. So we're actually going to take a look at this, and this is more of an outline than it is a deck profile because some people are going to have some different views on it, but this is just my attempt to give you something new because we don't often put out content. So let's take a look at what we got here. So Noble Knight Midrot, obviously, this is Platinum Rare, so it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting on the camera angle, but it kind of looks, it's really nice. It doesn't look like the Platinum Secret Rare, which was just kind of like painful to the eyes and just kind of looked ugly in general. It's really nice, and the whole deck comes Platinum Rare. You can also get Platinum Rare Dimensional Prison, Solemn Warning, some other cards that come in there. So even if you're not necessarily playing Noble Knights, there's some stuff you can get, and it all comes in Platinum Rare. And so you play 3 Midrots. I don't have the other 2 we're waiting on to come in, unfortunately, so I'm just using those proxies for the sake of for demonstrating. But 3 Midrot, really simple card combo enabler of the deck. Can spit out your rank 5 plays easily, and rank 4, depending on how you do it. And opening with a Midrot can technically give you like the Sacred Noble Knight with a bunch of equips and an almost unstoppable field. So 3 Midrot is necessary, as is, of course, 3 Boars. Boars is the searcher of the deck. If he's equipped, you can search for the equipped spells, and, you know, you can pretty much set off your combo if you go Midrot into Boars, as long as you open 1 Noble Arm spell other than Excalibur, and you can do that. And he'll search out Guinevere, as well as your Noble Knight spells, and no matter what, you can pretty much pull off a really good play first turn. So there's 2 Guinevere, you know, counts as an equipped spell, can equip herself from the hand or graveyard, can either give a dark monster a catastor-like effect, or a light monster some extra protection. Really good all around, searchable by Boars, so that makes it even more useful. 2 Effect Valor. You don't really want to play too many traps in this because you don't really have a lot of space to play them anyway, so I prefer this to Breakthrough Skill. If you do get the power-up packs, there is Platinum Rare Effect Valor in there if you're lucky enough to pull it, so I bet you it looks nicer than these supers, but unfortunately did not have that luxury. 1 Noble Knight Brothers. It's a really good card, but unfortunately at more than 1 it tends to clog. It can special summon some Noble Knights, but more importantly it has a Pot of Avarice-like effect. Once per turn you can target 3 Noble Knight monsters and or Noble Arms cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1 card. So it's a really useful card, plus it's got 2400 defense. So it's a wall you can sit on, and it's also a really good searcher. And as far as Noble Knights go, we got 2 more single Noble Knights here. Dristan, good one of. Honestly, I don't even like having to play it, but it's one of those things that it's more safe than sorry to have it. At least you'll be able to get around some stuff. And once it's equipped with the Noble Arms, you can pop a card on the field. And then we've got Noble Knight Bedweir. Now, this is the new one. When it's normal or special summon, you can send a Noble Arms equip spell from your deck to the graveyard. And then it has a second effect where it lets you re-equip a Noble Arms to another monster on the field. Not sure exactly when you'd want to use that, although it does work well with some Midrot combos. But it's good at 1. It speeds up the deck. You can mill your Excaliburs and set your plays up. So definitely good to play 1 of. Now, here's the new one. As well, Merlin, it's like a Lone Fire Blossom. You can tribute it to special summon a Noble Knight monster from your deck, but you can't special summon non-Noble Knight monsters for the rest of the turn. And then during each player's turn, you can banish it from your graveyard to either immediately Xyz summon or Synchro summon a Noble Knight monster from your extra deck, depending on which one you choose. I think the perfect number for it is 2. Only have 1 so far. Gotta wait for the rest of the stuff to come in. But it's a really good card that speeds up the deck, and I like it a lot for that reason. So I would definitely recommend it at 2. If you open with it and any Noble Arms equipped spell, it's a really good first turn play because it brings out Madrot and thins your deck at the same time. Then, of course, you have Honest. I don't know why you wouldn't play it with so many light targets, and the fact that it's pretty much just a safeguard to get over something. If they do manage to get over your equipped spells, you have Honest as a last resort. And then the tech card of choice here, Denko Sekka, which came out in New Challengers. You more or less control all face-up spell cards at a time. You don't set cards very often. We do play a minimal trap lineup, including Fiendish Chains, which are going to be face-up. So Denko Sekka is pretty easy to put on the board after you get, Sacred Noble Knight out. And it pretty much just ensures that any outs your opponent would have to any of your plays are shut down. And so that's why it's really useful. I like it. It's tested well so far. I think it's going to be a card that's going to see a lot of play elsewhere. 3 Rhoda, self-explanatory, not even going to waste time on it. Grabs your Madrots, Boars, whatever, speeds up the deck. I don't know why you wouldn't play it. 2 Destiny, Battle Protection, Card Effect Destruction, Protection, rather. Really good card. Doesn't offer any attack boost, but it can re-equip, and it's really good, especially if you get your Exceed out. 2 Excalibur, can't be targeted, and then you can use it from the graveyard to rank up or rank down a Noble Knight Xyz monster, so it's really good, and not to mention, you can have 2 on the field at once, so if for some reason I guess you wanted to, that perk is there. 2 Gallatin, it increases by 1,000, then has some decreases later, but I think for the most part it's worth it. You can OTK pretty cool with this, and, I'm not necessarily Excalibur, but basically you can put a lot of damage on the board regardless. I was considering 1, but right now 2 seems to be working, but you can also play 1 and play a different one like Caliburn at 2 instead. Double Aphrodite, or however you pronounce that. This is the one that you pay the 500, pop a set card on the field, 500 attack points, that is. I'm not sure if it's necessary to, but so far it seems to be working. It's pretty good removal. You also have MSTs and stuff, so that's really dependent on your own personal preference, but you could cut it if you wanted to. Double MST, Regeki, I feel like those are all self-explanatory. Regeki just gets around everything. MST is a safeguard, because if they Vanity's Emptiness or something, your Aphroditeers are not going to get around that. 1 Caliber, and this is the one that I personally like it a lot. I think it should be played at 2, but I'm sort of toying around with the idea. Gain 500 life points, so you can loop with this with Madrot and Boars and Sacred Noble Knight, gain 1,500. There's some really cool combos with that. Book of Moon, another self-explanatory. Foolish Burial is more so leaning towards coming out because I feel like it's not necessarily as useful as I thought it would be. But it's pretty cool if you get it first turn. You can put Guinevere in the graveyard. It does speed up and ensure your combos can go off. That's up to your personal preference. Noble Knights of the Round Table at 1. This is a tech that I've seen some decks talking about playing lately, and I think it's not bad. It's pretty much speed, if anything. It's not that hard to pull off the 3 effect, and once you get the 3 effect off, you can do the 5 pretty quick too. You can either mill a Noble Knight, or you can grab one from the graveyard, special summon one from the hand. So it's got some cool combo plays. That's another one that's optional, but the fact that field spells, both players can have them out now definitely does make a difference because you can't necessarily run it as removal. But it's one of those things I would say, test it, see how you feel about it. Release Restraint Wave, send an equipped spell on the field to the graveyard, and then to destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. So it's pretty good. Easy to pull off, powerful, and it does get around stuff like Vanities, so I would definitely consider playing it at 1 if you like it. And then last chapter of the Noble Knights, that's the new one that they got. If your opponent controls a monster, you control none, special summon a Noble Knight from your graveyard, and then target an equip spell in your graveyard and equip it to it. So it's pretty much a card that's really good late game, and you only play it at 1, at least in my opinion, because I think it can clog at any other number. But it lets you set up Madrot plays, Boars plays, and even if your opponent does get around everything you have, it's pretty easy to build your way back up. And then as far as traps go, it's, like I said, not too much. 2 Fiendish Chain. Breakthrough skill is good, but we run Denko Sekka, and also breakthrough skills, we got Valor in here, and I think Chain just stopping attacks can help if you're a little slow on building to it. Compulse, good card, 1 of, staple, I don't know why you wouldn't play it. Solemn Warning, again, looks really nice in Platinum, if you can see on that camera angle, I think it's really cool. And then Torrential, and Bottomless Trap Hole. So that's pretty much a very small trap lineup, but you don't need it too much, because once you can get your combos out, you can pretty much go from there. One of the things in the extra deck that is not included here, and it's basically just some rank 4s. I mean, you got Direwolf, Cowboy, Exiton, Omega, Blade Armor, Heroic Champion Excalibur, Maestro. Normally you would play Castell over this. I just don't have a Castell right now, so Maestro's pretty much just a space holder. Also Silent Honorarch, but I have it in a second deck at the moment, so I just didn't happen to grab it in time to film this profile. Play one Ignoble Knight of High Luncelin, pretty much, because you can use Valor with a Noble Knight to summon it. In builds that focus on the normal monster, I find it to be a lot better, because you play through Artorias, Lady of the Lakes, you can do some stuff with it, but that's a totally different build, and one that's not as effective on top of that, but it's a fun deck if you do like it. Two Artorias, really what I go into more than anything else, other than the rank 5, which I'll show you in a second. This is like a Heavy Storm, plus it re-equips itself, so it sets up some combos. And you got 2 Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorias. Best card in the deck, in my opinion. 2 level 5 monsters, pops monsters on the field, and then when it leaves the field, you can special summon a Noble Knight from your graveyard. I think it's a really good card. I think it's pretty much what enables the deck to go off all that well. And I mean, although I don't want this video to run on too much longer, essentially the most effective play that you can do with the deck is if you open with Madraw, and you put an equip spell on Madraw. And just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you the combo I was talking about with Caliburn. And so that's pretty much where you put it on Madraw, you put the Caliburn out. Let's just say you're fortunate enough to somehow open with those, or maybe you have a Rhoda. So you use Madraw's effect to special summon from the deck, you put Boars out. He's going to pop the Caliburn after you've gained the 500, then it'll re-equip to Boars. You'll use Boars' effect next. Boars' effect, you're going to search Guinevere, and then any other 2 Noble Arms that you want from the deck. And so you're going to search those there. And you see the 3. Your opponent will pick one at random. It really doesn't matter, although if they give you one that's not Gwen, that'd be awesome because you want her in the graveyard. So let's just say they give you this. You put it on Madraw. Caliburn, you gain another 500 life points. And then you can overlay these 2 guys here for Sacred Noble Knight, who will then load himself up with stuff from the graveyard. Plus, you can equip Gwen to him. So he's going to look like 3,300 here, I think, or something. No, 4,000, and then he can pop set stuff. And of course, if he would die, Gwen protects him instead. So that's just one of the combos you can do with the deck, and there's so many different things. It is essentially just a few play deck. Like, it's not like there's an expansive thing. So if your opponent has an answer to it, especially something like, I'm not sure, something that's specifically designed to stop spell cards from being played or stop equips, you're going to have a hard time. Macrocosmos hurts a lot. But as far as the deck itself goes, it's a lot of fun to play, and I think with the new stuff that they got, it's even more powerful than it was before. My recommendation would be to try it if you like it. I think the Noble Knight box, the round table, it's $49.99. I think it's worth it. You get the mat; it's really nice. It's a full-size mat, legit quality mat, plus the sleeves, the cards, the staples. It's only $50. I mean, if you're into the game and you play a lot, then I don't think it's not worth your while. I think it's definitely worth grabbing. And if you do decide to put together a Noble Knight deck, send us your profile. Let us know what it's like, and maybe we'll feature it on the channel. You know, we'll talk about it or something. So, thank you guys for watching. Everyone have a great holiday week, and we will see you soon.